Hi, this is Jim Mann with Homestyle Southern Cooking. Thanks for having me back in again today. As all you have known, if you've watched my videos, you know that my whole family, my grandfathers both were pie people, and I'm a pie person. So I love, when I think about making dessert, I always think about making pies instead of cakes. So today I'm going to bring you a chocolate bourbon cake, a chocolate bourbon pie. So we'll get started on it so you can see how we made this, okay? I've got my blender here, and to my blender I've got 2 eggs I'm gonna put in here. There's 1. 2. I got 2 eggs in there. Now I'm gonna add to my 2 eggs, I will add 1 cup of sugar. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my paddle blade on here, and I'm gonna mix that up just a little bit. Yep, I can get it on here. And I just want to mix the eggs and the sugar so it'll get them a little bit creamy. Not long, just a few seconds. Okay, that's about it. Now to that, I'm going to add, I've got 1 stick of room softened butter, okay? Got 1 stick of room softened butter. It wouldn't be a bourbon pie if we didn't put bourbon into it. So you all know that I love using Jack Daniels, but this one I decided to use Jim Beam instead. So I'm gonna put 4 tablespoons of Jim Beam into my mixture here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 teaspoons of, and it can be any type of, whiskey that you like. If you like Kentucky Gentleman or Wild Turkey, whatever you want. So I'm going to blend that up just a little bit as well. So I've got my eggs, my sugar, my butter, and now I've got my Jim Beam in here. Get them all creamed up, and boy, the smell with the butter and the Jim Beam is really smells really good. All right, we'll stop this for a second, and I'm going to add to this, I've got 1/4 of cornstarch, 1/4 cup of cornstarch. I'll put that in here too. I want to get that all mixed up. This is such a simple pie. When you see, once I get this done, you see what I do, you just won't believe how simple this is to make. I'm going to turn it off, and I want to scrape down the sides a little bit, make sure that I've got it all off the bottom. Like I said, if you can smell it, it smells incredible. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I've got 1 cup of pecans. I'm going to add my cup of pecans. And if you give me 1 second, let me go to my refrigerator, I'll get my cup of chocolate chips. Okay, I kept these in the refrigerator because I'm in the tropics and it gets warmer so quickly, and I didn't want these to melt. I'm using Hershey's milk chocolate, but you can use some of the sweet also. But I like these little small ones because these are smaller than your general chocolate chips you get. So I'll put 1 cup of that in there, and then we'll put this back in here, and we'll turn this on just for a few seconds to mix them up. Not real hard, I'm just getting them all mixed up a little bit. And that, my friends, is pretty much my pie ingredient, okay? My oven is set at 350 degrees. Now, earlier, I made a pie crust. Now, if you don't want to make your own pie crust, you can go to the store and buy a pie crust, or you get pie crust shell. Or I have a recipe, if you look back, for a very simple pie crust. I prefer to make my own pie crust, but for one reason, because we can't buy a ready-made pie crust here. So if I want a pie crust, I have to make my own. So I've gotten so used to doing it, I just make it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my mixture, I'm going to pour my mixture right in my pie shell here. And look at all those wonderful pecans and that chocolate going into this pie. You know this is going to be wonderful. Once this chocolate all melts in with the pecans, it's going to be an outstanding pie. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to put this in the oven right now at 350 for between 35 and 45 minutes. When it's ready, I'll take it out. I'll come back to you. Okay, our chocolate bourbon pie is out of the refrigerator. It's cooled down and it looks absolutely delicious, and I cannot wait to try it. So I have waited for y'all, so I'm going to take a slice out of here right now. This is a really old pie. It's been around a long time, the recipe. So, there it is. There is your slice of pie. Okay, now it's time to try our chocolate bourbon pie. It's absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. You cannot fix this unless you call me, because you'll need someone to help you. You don't want to waste it. Wow. You just get just a slight hint of the bourbon in there, just a slight hint. And that just gives it an extra kick. And even though you've got a lot of pecans showing, it's the chocolate. It's actually the chocolate and the bourbon which you really taste, which is amazing. I forgot that this was one of my grandfather's favorites, and wow, the chocolate really comes through. You need to try this one. So it's another pie for your repertoire of all the pies I brought you. I have to count sometime how many pies I've shared with you. I have a lot more to bring you. So I hope you like pies as much as I do. Thank you so much for following me on Facebook and subscribing to me on YouTube. Your support means everything to me, and you have been there for me over the process of time, and I appreciate it. So many more things I want to bring you, especially things coming up now for Valentine's and Easter and the spring of the year. There's so many wonderful recipes I can bring you. I'll be in touch with you really soon, and I hope you'll have me back in your house real soon. Until next time I invite you back in, you take care of yourself, and I send you a big hug and say, God bless.